it's that time once again. So glad you could join us. Yes, we've got another one from Unearthed Films, and this one is a sequel to a film we reviewed earlier that they released. This one is called La Petite Mort 2, which is the sequel to La Petite Mort. Go figure. Right? La Petite Mort 2 gives us more very nasty and extreme acts being performed by Dominique and the other staff of La Petite Mort, a very exclusive business where they give very rich people the opportunity to do very nasty things for a very high price. And yeah, they're continuing that trend here. We have Dominique returning, played by Annika Strauss. She was in the first one, and her and the staff are carrying out these requests by the rich customers, though they are under new management in the form of Monsignor Matteo Maxim, who is married to one of the former talents, Jade Maxim. And we see through a series of clips done similar to like chapters on a DVD, various short stories of extreme acts being performed that were requested of this company, with a wraparound story showing you how the business is kind of struggling, as is the showrunner, Monsignor Matteo Maxim, who's dealing with a lot of their own personal issues. It's interesting. This did what Blair Witch 2 did, in that it completely took a different approach to the way it presents the story. Whereas in the first La Petite Mort, it was definitely a more linear story. Even though you had the acts of extreme violence and really nasty things going on, it was played out far more like a narrative. And in this one, it plays more out like a very like an anthology of extreme acts that happen at this location, which again, you do have still the wraparound story to kind of connect them all along with the characters, but each one of these acts of violence really are on their own. In fact, they even get a title card telling you what the act of violence is, who the victim is, and how much it costs. And I thought that was an interesting approach. It's a different approach. It might be a little jarring for those who are fans of the first ones, but I understand why they did it that way. Maybe because they were filming during COVID, and I understand that, but it's just interesting to do for a sequel. Now, Dominique is played by Annika Strauss, who co-wrote this with the director Marcel Walz, and I like the story. I like the character of Dominique. I love how Dominique and Monique, who's played by Yvonne Volk, how they go about it like this is their job. You know, we get some behind the scenes, because the whole gimmick is they've got a camera following the behind the scenes activities for 1 week of the staff of La Petite Mort. So you get that kind of BTS view, and it was interesting. It was interesting how they play these characters being almost like, yep, oh well, today we've got to castrate someone and then feed them their own testicles or something like that. You know, just the way they play it off. That is, you know, pretty much as creepy as any jump scare. You know, how they're looking at it almost indifferently at these victims. And the wraparound story is interesting. Micah Metz, who is a new character, Monsieur Matteo Maxime. I hope I pronounced that right. I apologize if I haven't. Definitely an interesting character. Did not expect them to show up in this, but in this way. But there's an interesting arc with them that really escalates by the end of the film. Jade Maxim, played by Michaela Schaefer, I thought she did really well in here too, as the wife of the owner. She gets a little catty with the staff, you know, and yeah, I mean, I really enjoy these films for the Dominique character and the staff. You know, I'm not a huge fan of extreme cinema, but I will say as well that the special effects, the gore effects, the practical effects they have in here, the reason the film has such disturbing acts is because they look realistic. Sometimes a little over the top. No, I'm going to go say it's sometimes, but a lot of times it's not. It's very disturbing because it's visceral, it's gory. There's a wonderful sound squishiness to the things that are happening. And Again, going to be select taste here. This is extreme cinema. This is stuff that, watch, maybe not, it's got a little bit of, I don't know, playfulness to it, which sounds bad to say, but it does. But it still kind of has that tone of like Martyrs and, Hostel. Hostel 2. It's very much in the vein of Hostel 2 in many ways. So if you like those types of movies and you enjoyed La Petite Mort, I think you'll like this. Just if you're a fan of the first one, remember, it's going to be structured differently. I'm going to admit it. I would not mind seeing more of the Dominique character because she really is an interesting one. And it's just a bit of a different take on your extreme violent horror film. So thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I appreciate every single one of you. And until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.